putting up a strong war defense on your helicarrier. Very important for winning wars. So in this video, we are breaking down the top war defense teams in all of Marvel Strike Force. These are the teams that can help you create a formidable wall for your opponents. Yeah, some of the trickiest teams out there. And if you're ready for the breakdown, guys, we're counting them down in this video. Find that like button. Let's go smash it.
ValleyFlyin.
Well, hello, Valley Maniacs. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are breaking down the top war defense teams in all of Marvel Strike Force. Now, if this is your first time here, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe button, because we got at least 5 Marvel Strike Force videos every single week on this channel, and it helps the algorithm. Now, we're going to be breaking down not just the top 10 war defense teams, because that is all you could fit in your helicarrier. We're actually breaking down the top 12 because, quite frankly, some of these war defense teams, while they are very, very good in some of the most tricky war defense teams that you could place, well, a lot of these are better served on offense. So instead of 10, we got 12 of the top war defense teams in this video. Now, we've broken them down into these tier lists. We've got 3 tiers, and if you want to interchange any of these teams within the tier to give them a higher ranking or lower ranking, then yes, you can do that. But without further ado, let's get to that first ranking. And if you want to see how to counter some of these teams, what are some of the best war offense teams, make sure you check out yesterday's video, because we discussed some of the top war offense teams in yesterday's video. But starting with some of the trickiest war defense teams, starting with tier 3, boom, it is the Inhumans with Coulson and Silver Surfer. Very, very tricky. Silver Surfer, probably the top character in the game that is not on a set team, and I guess this is where his set team is, on war defense right now. Black Bolt with his burps, and then Coulson with his big war defense opening set. This can pose some problems. Now, obviously, a lot of the top meta teams can beat this team, like the Weapon X and the Eternals, Infinity Watch, so on and so on. But some of the other non-meta teams that can beat this teams that you could counter them with, the X Factor, they counter a lot. Shadowlands, they counter a lot. The Axeman, the astonishing X-Men can beat this, as well as the Uncanny XMen. So you got a lot of options with beating this team, but they are tricky. You do have to be careful of this team. Silver Surfer poses some problems. Black Bolt poses some problems. Yo-Yo with her offense down. So a lot of tricks that these guys can pose, but using one of these counters, you should have no problem. Moving on to the next team. This is the Axeman. Now, this is one of the teams that you can either use on offense or on defense. They're kind of losing their place in offense, so you might want to relegate them to defense. And they are counterable by some of these meta teams that we mentioned, but obviously, Axeman versus Axeman, getting that ability block off, especially taking out Beast first, it's gonna be important for this team. So Axeman work. Shadowlands, they have a very early opening ability block that you could use. Black Order is who I end up using when I see an Axeman on defense. So Black Order works, and then Secret Avengers, so good on offense. Some people use them on defense, and just spoiler alert, the Secret Avengers are not going to be on this list. I think they're a better offense team, and with all the summons, they're kind of a liability. But Secret Avengers, they are able to beat the Axemen, and it is up to you if you want to use the Axemen on offense or defense. Moving on, still in tier 3, it is the best team in the game a year ago, the Black Order. These guys beat everything. Right now, they're pretty much a war team right now. So war offense, war defense, either way you guys want to use them. But a lot of times, when I see Black Order, I do a Black Order versus Black Order mirror match. Dr. Octopus with some symbiotes also beat this if you're not using your symbiotes on defense. They're not really great on defense. They're not really great on offense. So symbiotes with Doc Ock is able to beat his Surfer and a bunch of different combos. Remember, Surfer, when he came out, was the original Black Order counter in Arena. And then we mentioned him before, Secret Avengers, they could also beat the Black Order. And moving on, another team that you could use on offense is the Uncanny XMen. They actually have a lot of synergy here, more than is listed on MSF.GG right now, but the Magic version. So the Magic version with Phoenix, Storm, Colossus, Cyclops, Magic, very good. This was designed to be a war offense team. I do see this on war defense some of the times, and it does get a little tricky. Shadowlands is another team that could beat these guys. X Factor beats a lot, just like the Shadowlands. Ravagers beat these guys. Secret Avengers comes in and beat these guys as well. as well as some of your meta teams. So while this might not be the ideal war defense team, it will have to soak up one of your opponent's stronger war offense teams. So this could be an option if you're not really using them on offense. But let's move on to the next tier. Tier 2, moving on, is the Web Warriors. Now, this is a very RNG based team. You could have one battle against these team, exact same power levels, and just smash these guys. But then you get the exact same battle. They get a bunch of evades. They are dodging you a lot, and that battle goes horrible. So very, very RNG based. These guys can make your life miserable, or you could just smash these guys. Normally what I'm doing is trying to take out Ghost Spider first, but Black Order is who I'm usually working with this team on for counter them. Secret Avengers is another counter. So again, another reason to save Secret Avengers for offense. They counter so many teams, and like I said, kind of a liability on defense, but they are able to counter these guys. The Uncanny X-Men, if you're not using them on defense. The Ravagers work as well. So you could use a lot of different teams with this, but be careful, because this is a very, very RNG based battle. It could go right, it could go wrong, and it's no rhyme or reason, just with all their evades and dodges that they do. Moving on to the next team in this tier 2, it is these new warriors. Now, there's a lot of different new warrior combos, and probably the strongest is the one with Surfer and Emma. So you're not going to be able to run all of these teams, because Surfer and Humans or Surfer new warriors, depending how you're using these guys, and a lot of people are using the new warriors on offense as well. So a lot of different options to place these guys. But Eternals beat these guys pretty good. So if you're not using the Eternals with any other team, and Eternals, and if you're seeing an Emma Frost, you're just going to need to get in front of the Emma Frost with another Emma Frost and either Loki or Cable. Eternals work very well. X Factor works like they work with so many other teams. Even X Force works with this team if you have the right power levels of these guys. Infinity Watch works. The Ravagers work. Shadowlands works. So a lot of these meta teams will work against this team. And moving on to the last team in Doom, and I've kind of cheated here. We got 2 teams, and that's because Doom himself is kind of a strong war defense. And there's 2 ones that I want to mention that are very strong. The Doom with the Mercs, and this team right here, the Doom with the Brotherhood. You're going to have some different counters. Now, the Doom Marauders, I probably see that more often than any other combo. That's probably the weakest version. We have the Uncanny X-Men with Doom. That's probably the second weakest version, but the 2 stronger versions are with the Doom and the Brotherhood and the Doom with the Mercs. Now, countering this Doom Brotherhood, usually I end up using the X Factor with Rhino instead of Zemo because of the blinds from Magneto. Ravagers also work. The Uncanny X-Men also work, especially with that Phoenix taking all the blinds, all those negative effects off, and hopefully your Phoenix dies. So this is the first one. Second one, this one is also very tricky, but Secret Avengers counters this. The Shadowlands counters this. You need something with that ability block on Dr. Doom. And of course, if you're using one of your meta teams, the Infinity Watch can take these guys out as well. But those are the tier 2, and moving on to the top tier. Now, these are some of the best war defense teams. Some of these guys you're gonna use on offense, but there are some that are designed specifically for defense. First one I want to talk about in this tier is, boom, these guys, we mentioned them. They're very good on offense. Some people are using them on defense now. And Infinity Watch versus Infinity Watch mirror matches is the counter that I use, but I don't see these guys that often. Secret Avengers, another reason you want to save them for war offense. And I'm talking about the Secret Avengers with Kestrel and Nick Fury as the 5th for countering a lot of these teams. And of course, the arena counter works. The Eternals, just getting in front of them with the Eternals, trying to get in front of their speed. They can take out these guys. But yeah, Infinity Watch, very, very strong, poses a lot of problems on defense. They are a tier 1 team, not a lot of counters. We're very limited with the counters once we get into this tier 1 teams. Next is the Eternals, and there's a lot of different combos with the Eternals. I think the strongest one is the America Chavez version because of the speed. Even the speed Eternals with Cable, Emma Frost, and Loki still cannot get in front of the speed that America Chavez provides on war defense if she's adjacent to both Cersei and Icarus. So this can pose some problems. You're going to have to use some different teams. So probably not an Eternals mirror match because you can't get in front of the speed when America Chavez is there. So you're probably going to have to use a big Infinity Watch. Weapon X will beat these guys, and they're not out as of the timing of this video, but Dark Hunters, Theory crafting wise, they should be able to beat this team as well if they could get it. Yes, they should be able to beat this team. So Dark Hunters, Weapon X, and Infinity Watch. Although that Dark Hunters is more theoretical at this point because, like I said, as of me recording this, they are not out in the game yet. Moving on is the dirtiest team in the game, in my opinion, the Heroes for Hire. Now, the good thing about the Heroes for Hire, we're getting more and more counters to this team, but Weapon X is the original counter. These guys can punch up pretty big on the Heroes for Hire. Dark Hunters are also designed to be a counter to this team, but like I said, Morbius not in the game yet as of me recording this. So again, that is theoretical, but based on all the footage that we've seen and we got sent by the devs, they should be able to counter these Weapon X, and looking at their kit, obviously, they should be able to counter these guys pretty good. And then if you're punching down, you could punch down with the Infinity Watch, but punching down is usually never very fun. So Weapon X is probably your best bet if you're facing the Heroes for Hire. But hopefully we're getting more and more counters to these guys as we keep progressing in the game. Moving on, though, we got a couple extra teams. It is the newest team in the game, or the newest war defense team in the game, the Young Avengers, and these guys are tricky. Now at lower levels, they have a bunch of counters if they're not built up properly. As you start to build them up, the options to beat these guys get less and less and less, and I think probably the best one is going to be your new warriors. That Silver Surfer Heli combo looks to be the best, but of course Weapon X can beat these guys, the Infinity Watch can beat these guys, and if you're punching down a very small one, you might be able to use an X Factor to beat these guys. You might be able to use a Shadowlands to beat these guys. But as these Young Avengers get larger and larger and larger, like I said, your options are going to get limited. So probably just going to be using those new warriors and Weapon X and Infinity Watch to beat these guys. And last but not least, it is the top war team in the game, because not only are they very, very good on war offense, the top war offense team, they're also very tricky with very limited counters on war defense, and that is the Weapon X. So this is probably a team that you're not going to want to place on war defense. You're going to want to use them to counter Heroes for Hire or some other meta war defense teams in the game, but maybe you're not able to get all your attacks in and you're very late to the battle. Maybe your alliance wants you to place that Weapon X on defense. There's not going to be a lot of counters for them. Weapon X can counter Weapon X, and I heard you could punch it pretty big with Weapon X, which is a little weakness with them. Infinity Watch, you could beat them with Infinity Watch, and it looks like the Dark Hunters can beat these guys as well, although that is theoretical at this point. And that is it. Those are the top 10. We got few teams in that top tier: Weapon X, Young Avengers, Eternals, Heroes for Hire, and the Infinity Watch. In that second tier, we got Doom with the Doom Mercs and Doom Hood specifically, not the Doom Marauders and not Uncanny Doom, but Doom Hood and Doom Mercs. We also have Web Warriors and New Warriors in that spot, and rounding out that third tier, we have Uncanny, Black Order, the Axemen, the Astonishing X-Men, and the Inhumans with Coulson and Surfer. And that is it. Now, one that I do want to mention, Doc Ock is a very tricky one as well. So kind of an honorable mention that I didn't talk about before. Doc Ock, especially a very large Doc Ock with a small Sinister 6. If someone's not paying attention and just looking at the overall power level, could be very, very tricky. And that is the only other character that I want to mention for honorable mentions. But that is it, guys. Let me know, who are your top war defense teams? Are there some other counters or some other tricky combos that I did not mention? Some other hybrid teams that you're using that are having a lot of success with? Let me know about them in the comments, guys. And I will see you guys next time. Like I said, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If it was helpful for you, hopefully your alliance, hit that subscribe button. We got at least 5 Marvel Strike Force videos per week on this channel. Hit that notification bell, hit that thumbs up. It helps the algorithm. Share this with your friends. Make sure you check out the links down below that support the channel. BlueStacks is my emulator of choice. Amazon coins, where you can save up to 20% off all of your in-game purchases, whether it be in Marvel Strike Force or whatever game. And there's a bunch of others there, guys. So I will see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day. Give me that Hulk fist bump. And I will see you guys later. ValleyFlyin out.